It's always been my dream to make my own coffee table. How cool would it be when your guests come over and they compliment your table and you're like, well, actually I made that. So this week I set out to make a dupe of a $3,000 coffee table. My husband and my brother said I couldn't do it, but let's see if I can prove them wrong. Okay, so as you can see, my living room is really coming along, but I don't have a good coffee table that fits this space. The coffee table I had was actually an outdoor table, so it wasn't even meant to be inside. But I have inspiration to make this really high-end, like $3,000 table on a really tiny budget. So I actually flipped all the planks upside down because that's how we're gonna be attaching them. And then I'm gonna use wood glue and these long, like galvanized strips. So they're just gonna go like across the bottom and attach there. And that will be the top. So it's really easy. You can even get a lumber store to like assemble it. Cut the pieces and you assemble it. I'm gonna use wood glue, and we're just gonna glue the edges, and then I'm gonna use the strip. So you don't wanna put too much glue because then it will just ooze everywhere. Okay. So use like a good amount, but not too much, if that makes any. And you wanna just line up all the edges too. Make sure nothing is underneath, so it's all gonna be level. Now, bonus points if you have a really large clamp and you could clamp these together. I didn't, so I just smooshed them all together so that they would be really tight. And then my plan is to actually use the straps and attach the straps to the wood while it's wet so that I can get a nice tight bond across these 3 planks of wood. This is the bottom of the table, so make sure you're using like the bad side of the wood. And then I put my galvanized strips on an angle. I actually thought it would be stronger than just having them straight across. And make sure that you use screws that are shorter than your thickness of the wood because you don't want the screws to come out through the top of the table, right? Because then it's just gonna jab you. Always use pilot holes first and then go in with your drill and screw them in. We're gonna let the tabletop dry and we're gonna move on to the legs. Now the legs are the key feature of this table because they're so unique, and I haven't seen a lot of tables with this arch shape, but we know arches are so in style. For this table, I'm using 2-inch thick spruce, which I really love because it is like a nice chunky wood. So as the table ages, it's gonna look more and more rustic. I'm using my jigsaw with a saw blade that's a little bit finer just because it's a little bit easier to control when you're doing any rounded or curved shapes. And this edge popped right off, which is really nice. So really simple there. And then I sanded the curve, but also the flat surface of that too, just to give it a nice finish. So I am gonna trace out the legs, which are like a curve shape. So I basically took my spacer and I put it here and I drew a line. And then I put it here and I also drew a line. And then I basically took my paint can and I connected the 2 lines. So this part is easy to cut with a jigsaw, but I need to actually cut it straight all the way across. So I'm not exactly sure I'll cut it yet. This was actually so hard to cut because the spruce is so thick and I just went really slow, and cutting the curve was okay, but I knew that cutting the straight part would just take forever. So I started by cutting the curve on each side of the leg, and then I tackled the remainder of the leg, like the straight part. Honestly, I wish that I could use a circular saw because that would make a better cut, like way more straight, but I just couldn't figure out how to do it because I had those curves and then this long straight part. So I used my jigsaw, and it was actually a big hot mess. So I've actually started to sand this. This is a P60 grit, so you can see the difference here versus what happened with the jigsaw. So it won't take too long, but definitely you have to go in and do like a nice smooth sand. I was gonna join these two pieces of wood together, but then I noticed that they have like this ridge, and I think that if I put these through my table saw and just take off like a 1/4 inch on each of them, then they'll actually join together a lot better and you won't have this very obvious ridge. I hope. So because I'm going to be stacking two pieces together to make it look like one, I put it through my table saw and I just took off a tiny edge. So to make the legs, I use wood glue, and then I'm just gonna clamp the two pieces together and hope that they make a really strong bond, because I don't wanna have any brackets exposed. I want it to look like a high-end table, and you don't see brackets on high-end tables. I really want this to look like one piece. Let's see how the wood glue held up. Because like I could add brackets. I have these like tiny brackets I got, but let's see if this is good enough or not. And if it falls apart, it's not good enough, right? I can't even believe it. This is starting to look like a real table. So I'm marking where this is going to go on the tabletop, and I just want to make sure it's centered on that. And so I'm using a pencil to mark it, and then I'll add wood glue there, and I will glue it there. Now, I don't think the wood glue is going to be enough, but people say that wood glue is stronger than screws and nails, so let's just see. Okay, I actually ended up using a couple of small brackets just because my husband was like, there's no way that's gonna stay on. We have two boys, so we gotta make it strong. It was the moment of truth. It's time to flip over the table, and I asked my husband to help me flip it over. But to my shock, and he didn't say it in so many words, but it was not stable. And it was kind of like a I told you so kind of moment for him. But in my mind, I was like, I can do better. So we can see this table is a little bit wobbly, and the center support is kind of sagging down. So when I looked online, all the tables actually have a leg that goes this way. Like I would say 99% of tables go this way, and they do not have this long leg like this. So my husband was like, you need to add an angled bracket. I cut a couple of these supports, and I'm gonna see if I can just slide them in here, if that will stabilize the table. Fingers crossed. Actually, it does stabilize it a bit. It's still a bit wobbly. Like, is that okay? Like, are coffee tables just a tiny bit wobbly? I don't know. Well, obviously not. Tables are supposed to be absolutely stable, so let's use some pocket holes to really add some structure and stability to that coffee table. So I added this one brace here. I haven't even screwed it in, but I did drill the pocket holes, and now it is like totally stable, like it's not moving. So I think if I screw this here, then we're done. I hope, and I don't need to add, because I didn't really want to add a side brace here, but that was my backup. Even though I've been doing DIY and woodworking for about 6 years, I have always been so intimidated by pocket holes. I don't know what it is about them. But last year I decided that I would just go for it, and they have added so much to my DIY toolbox. Like, I feel like I can do so many more projects just because I know how to do pocket holes. So if this is something that you've been like, I need to learn this, but I don't understand it, trust me, like just go for it, make the mistakes, because it helps so much. Now the moment of truth, is this table going to be stable? Because we need a stable table. Okay. Oh, it's still not stable. I thought it was going to be stable now. But it's still. So at this point, I was kind of like, I want to give up. But I couldn't, because I had to prove to my brother and my husband that I could make furniture from scratch. I added 2 extra braces, and it feels solid, but it also felt solid last time. Oh my gosh, this is it. Like, if this doesn't work, this is just gonna be a wobbly table, okay? Let's see. Oh my gosh, it's so heavy. Okay, honestly, it feels a lot stable already. Oh my gosh, it feels so stable. I think it's gonna be a stable table. Oh my gosh, it's stable! Ah, yes! Oh my gosh, it doesn't, like, it cannot move at all. Ah, it did it! Oh my gosh, now, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Now, I trust this table that like my kids will not break it. Now that we've got the table reinforced, we're gonna move on to staining it. The first step is to always add a preconditioner. This just makes sure that your stain will go on a lot more smoothly and you won't get that blotchiness, especially because sometimes the stain can absorb unevenly into wood if you don't use a preconditioner. I'm also using water-based stain because I find that the color is just not as pungent and it's a lot better to use it indoors because it doesn't smell. Next, I use a whitewash, so I wanted to add white to the wood first so that any stain that went on wouldn't be too dark and wouldn't get immediately absorbed into the wood, and this would allow me to build the color a little more slowly. My biggest tip when actually staining your table is to rub the stain into your table. Don't just like splop it on and then wipe it off. I know a lot of the jars say that, but don't do that because you will have color that is way too dark and it's not what you want. Now the last step, because I have kids, is that I need to add a top coat, and this top coat is just gonna make sure that it stays protected so that we don't have any spills or anything that absorb into the table. Oh my goodness, look at this table. I think I totally proved my husband and my brother wrong, and I have so much confidence that I can make any type of table and any type of furniture because even though there was a few obstacles, this really turned out to be a beautiful coffee table. I absolutely love how this table turned out. I think that this curved edging here and the curved leg here is just a little detail that makes it a little bit more interesting rather than just having like a rectangular base. And it wasn't that hard to do. And I also really am so happy with how the stain combination turned out. So just doing that whitewash first and then the brown stain, I feel like it looks really rustic. And this is one of those tables that you see at a furniture store that are like $800 or $900 just because it's made of real wood. But today I showed you how you can make this table under $100. This is such a great project if you're just getting into DIY and woodworking. So I hope you guys give it a try, and if you do, let me know how it goes, and I'll see you next time. Keep DIYing.